Thanks for joining us here on Indivisible. I'm your host, John Stubbins. We're thrilled to have you with us, America. This is the show we put God, family, and country first. We will always tell you the truth. Look, I want to touch on something real quick. Our new upcoming documentary, American Anarchy. We could use your help. We're looking for not only investors, but partners. We're also looking for donations to help us put this important documentary together. So I wanted to just touch on this real quick. We'd love for you to go to the website, johnstubbins.com. You can donate there, even if it's $5, $10. We'd love for you to become a partner with us. That'd be wonderful. If you don't want to become a partner, like I said, you can just donate $5. Every little bit helps. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to have Texas Agricultural Commissioner Sid Miller. And later on, we've got Joe Kent, District 3 in the state of Washington, running for Congress. Be right back.
Hunter Nation is the ultimate we the people in the conservation community, holding our elected employees accountable to the hunting, fishing, trapping, freedom lifestyle that has brought wildlife back to the healthiest and most thriving condition in our lifetime. HunterNation.org is the epicenter for freedom and wildlife conservation in America. I am Hunter Nation.
We're thrilled to have you back, folks. We're going to go to our guest today, or one of two guests today, but I want to bring on my friend, Texas Agricultural Commissioner Sid Miller. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. Good to see you, John.
You're looking sharp, brother. I love that jacket.
Thank you. You're too kind.
How's things going down there?
Well, it's pretty rough here in Texas. Most of the state's in a drought, and we got a lot of fires breaking out over the countryside. So we have to be careful.
Yeah, I know you've got your challenges down there. Abbott cut your budget, huh?
Well, I did pretty good on the general budget for my agency. But the legislature cut my travel budget. I have to fund my own travel, which makes it pretty tough since I do worldwide marketing and
Sure.
travel required for my job.
Probably cuts down on some of your speaking engagements as well.
Well, it hadn't so far. I just keep going. I don't let it affect me. I just have to get out and hustle a little harder to cover it.
Okay. All right. I want to talk to you a little bit about some other issues dealing with the border and agriculture. What are you finding down there? Some of the repercussions from the border situation. How is it affecting agriculture, not only in the state of Texas, but what expands to the entire country, Sid?
Well, it has a lot of different effects. Number one, I guess the greatest one is affects land values. That land along the border there where the trafficking is coming through, just the land values have just plummeted. No one wants that land. The people that have it would like to get out from under it and, go farm or ranch somewhere else, but there's just no market for it.
Yeah.
All the cartels and all the illegal traffic on it. A lot of those ranchers decided they couldn't farm under those situations. So they've converted to game farms, high fence game farms, and brought in exotic livestock in an attempt to generate some kind of revenue out of that land. Well, the illegals and the cartels, they'll drive a vehicle through that, big expensive fence or cut big holes in it. $10,000 buck, gets out and, is gone. And so that's not working much for them either.
Oh, geez. What's that take to put together?
Well, you just have to patrol the fence every day. You've got to be there when they, and get it repaired as quick as you can, or your livestock or exotic game will escape, get out on the road, get run over, that kind of stuff. It's a constant problem. Of course, they leave trash everywhere. Cattle eat the plastic and kills the cattle or the sheep or goats. And that's not good. They ransack houses and outbuildings and barns and bust water lines and, let all the water run out of the storage tank. And now the stock doesn't have any water. So cow can only go about 3 days without water. And sometimes it's hard to get, find them before they get to that point, unfortunately. So a lot of trash everywhere, dead bodies, to deal with. It's not a good situation.
No, it's not. And, we constantly get updated on the border, whether it's Jason Jones or Tom Homan, at least twice a month, so that we can let our audience know what's going on real time down there. Let me ask you this, agriculturally speaking, is there any good news for Texas?
Well, we're making progress. We work pretty well with the ports down there. Might be interesting to your listeners to know that Laredo, Texas is now the largest inland port in the United States. We have 17 ports of entry and exit in Laredo, Texas. In 1 day's time, there will be 20,000 tractor trailer rigs come and go between the state of Tamaulipas and the state of Texas. And
wow.
That's close to $1 billion worth of trade just at Laredo. That's not all the other ports at Brownsville and McAllen and El Paso and Del Rio and the rest of the entries up and down the river.
That's a lot. That's a lot just for one port. Look, and I know it's important to Texans, because right now you see the influx, and a lot of people. I was talking to Ken Paxton about this just a couple of days ago. A lot of these people coming in from California, they're coming into Texas, and they're voting Democrat. So they haven't learned their lesson, and they're bringing the same problems that they just left over to the state of Texas. It blows my mind.
Well, we have some of that going on. It's not as bad as you think. And I'll give you a little cowboy logic. Most of those people, 60% or more, are fleeing the liberal policies in California.
Yes.
They're conservatives and getting the heck out of California and coming to Texas or Florida or some other.
So you think it's 6-4?
At least. And it could probably be higher than that. It could be as high as 70%.
Okay. Well, that's good news. That's good news.
We actually did a survey after the last election to see what effect the influx of new people coming into Texas had on the election. And actually, if it hadn't been for those people coming from California, we would have lost a United States senator.
Yeah, I'll say. Look, before we let you go, we just got a couple minutes left here. I know that you had filed a lawsuit against Obama when Obama tried to do the racist farmer thing and not allow white farmers to get money and only give it to the black farmers. You won that case, right?
Right. I actually filed it against the Biden administration. It was pandemic relief for farmers.
Right.
They were going to forgive any USDA loans or USDA guaranteed loans. But the problem I had with it was how you qualified. To qualify for this loan, you had to be black or a minority. White people need not apply because you're not eligible. That's just racist. Is it
Right.
get? Not. Some people said that's reverse racism. No, it's not. It's racism. You're basing a government benefit on the color of someone's skin. We can't do that in the United States. I don't care. I'm not against black farmers if they've been discriminated against. I mean, we
Right.
can. But
You do the same thing for them.
Yeah, this is not the way to do it. So I filed suit, not as ag commissioner. I didn't use taxpayer dollars. I filed as an individual farmer, made it a class action so any other farmer could join me. And we won that right off the bat. It was totally unconstitutional to base a government benefit on the color of your skin.
Well, kudos to you for doing that on behalf of farmers all across the country. I'm sure that they're thrilled about that and very happy with you, Sid, as well they should be. What's coming up for you on the calendar? You got anything big coming up?
Well, we're fighting back against the Biden's 2030 plan. If you know what that is, they're trying to idle 30% of our land by the year 2030. That's phase one. And then they're going into the 50-50 plan. They want to take 50% of our land out of production by the year 2050. It's a global plan. They're already doing that in Europe, and I'm fighting like hell to keep it from happening in the United States.
Yeah, don't let George Soros get his hooks into us. Thank you so much, brother. Look, I appreciate you coming on and giving us an update. We haven't had you on in a while. Folks, sidmiller.com. If you want to follow Sid, his website, sidmiller.com. On Twitter, @MillerForTexas, and Facebook, Sid Miller. We love you, brother. Thanks for coming on.
Facebook, Miller for Texas. Join us.
See you soon, brother.
Thank you. God bless. Appreciate it.
God bless you. That was Sid Miller, our great friend down in Texas. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back with Joe Kent, District 3, Washington State, running for Congress.
My name is John Rich. I'm one half of the multi-platinum duo Big and Rich, originally from Amarillo, Texas, and now I live right here in Nashville, Tennessee. You know, I think above and beyond songs that I put out or brands that I'm with or whatever, I think what people hopefully respect about me and identify with in me is that I'm a regular guy in here. I do irregular things. I get to go do really cool, big things. But I grew up in a double-wide trailer. I have a high school diploma, just like a lot of people in this country. And that's still how my head works. That's still how my brain thinks. Those are still the people I like to hang out with. I understand them much better than the people in the music industry or the television industry or anywhere else. I identify with those people. And they know that. And they've watched me step out time and time and time again over these past several years and speak my mind about our country, speak truth about what I know to be true about our country, speak about God, speak about my family, the red, white, and blue. All the while, these people know, I bet John's getting slapped around somewhere, because you're not supposed to be able to say stuff like that in the wide open and be a successful entertainer. That's not possible anymore. It's called cancel culture, but he's still doing it. And they know I'm getting slapped, and they know I'm getting hit. But here's the thing. I tell all my fans, I go, listen, people that hate me for my love of my country is validation that I said it correctly. You know, the American dream is different for every single American that you'll ask. What is your American dream? For me, it's making music and being an entrepreneur. For somebody else, it may be, you know what? Instead of going to college, I became a welder. And my American dream is to own my own welding company someday. And I'm going to have 10 welders that work for me. And I'm going to teach my son how to weld, and he's going to take it from there. And I think that I represent tens of millions of Americans that think just like that, whether they've actually grabbed that dream yet or they're still in pursuit of it. This is what Old Glory Bank is all about. This is the platform that you can plant your feet on and not worry about somebody pulling the rug out from under you at the very, very worst possible time. And I think Old Glory Bank is one of those moves that you can make as an individual if you want to say, you know what, I'm tired of the way I'm being treated. I'm tired of being taken for granted. I'm tired of being laughed at and looked down upon. I'm going to go somewhere where they think like I think. They respect me for who I am, because they are me. We are each other. We're Americans that have each other's back. But when Old Glory Bank, when that idea came around to me, I said, that is not only a great idea, that is a necessary idea. And I'm honored to be a part of it.
And we're back. I want to bring on the show now congressional candidate and friend from the state of Washington, the great state of Washington, District 3 in that state, my friend Joe Kent. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Great to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you. Last time you were on, I think I had my friend John Schneider on with us.
Yeah, that's right.
Nobody's on today, but well, you got the floor to yourself. How you doing out there, man?
We're doing good. You know, back. It's kind of Groundhog Day on the campaign trail, but we're doing great. I mean, things are moving along. We got the endorsement of most of the counties in the district right now. So keeping the primary field clear and just really focusing on flipping this seat in November of 24.
Good, good. Look, I'll get right into a couple issues. The Democrats voted against funding the VA. When I saw that, I immediately said, of course they did, right? Of course they did. Whatever makes sense, they go the other way.
Yeah, it's pretty despicable. I mean, I don't think it got as much media coverage as it should have. But
None.
right before Congress, let out for their 30-day or whatever it is break, they decided that they weren't going to fund the VA. Every single Democrat, I think there might be one or two that just didn't vote at all, but every Democrat voted to not fund the VA. Of course, every Republican voted for it. So now it's going to go to the Senate to get chopped up all over again. But
Yeah.
the crazy thing, every single election season, we hear that the Republicans are going to starve grandma. They're going to take away Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. They're going to starve the veterans. They
Right.
always say this. And then they turn around and quietly all vote against funding the VA. And really, most of the Democrats right now are voting to continue our wars in the Middle East. Matt Gaetz, Anna Paulina Luna, these great Republicans, they've tried to end these wars. The Democrats vote to keep them going. And then, of course, the issues in Ukraine, they are all doing the bidding of the military-industrial complex. But then when it comes time to actually pay the veterans who bled for this nation, they got no time for it. They don't even want to give them a penny. They just want to go on their 30-day break and, let the media bury it.
Yeah, and for veterans like you and I, that really bothers us, because it's not just about the two of us. It's about all of our brothers out there that are getting left to dry in the wind. And that's not right. It's not right.
It's not right at all. It's not right. And the only reason they can get away with this is because we've had an all-volunteer force for so long now that the actual people that are drawing VA benefits, it's just such a small percentage. And so most congressmen, they're not even affected by this. So unless you have that deeply ingrained patriotism and you understand that our nation owes veterans a debt, then it really doesn't even hit your radar. And the Democrats, my opponent included, Marie Perez, they all voted against it because they're like, man, you know what? The voters, they're not really going to hold me accountable for this. And so, who cares if the veterans get funded or not? It's despicable.
Is she woke?
She does. She says that she's not, and then she votes to let men into your daughter's dressing room. So she'll do her best to avoid woke lexicon and woke. She'll avoid saying anything that's woke out in front. But then when it comes time to vote, she votes along with the radical left. So like I said, she voted to put biological men into your daughter's dressing room. She's voted to continue the policies of ESG that are destroying our free market system in America. So yeah, I mean, when it comes time to actually affect policy, she is just as woke as AOC or Pelosi.
Yeah, the men in the bathroom thing with my daughter's a non-starter.
Right, and every single Democrat voted for that. So people always talk about like the moderate Democrats, and I always say that's cool. Show me a moderate Democrat. Like I think they existed 30 years ago, 20 years ago, maybe, but they're extinct. I mean that is the mainstream of the Democrat Party. It's insanity.
What do you think about JFK?
Oh, RFK Jr.?
Yeah.
I think he's doing I mean, look, there's probably some stuff I disagree with him on here and there, but overall, the way that he is going after, I think the key issues, the merger between state and corporate power and the military industrial complex, he is a guy who understands what time it is. So I think he's very much this new political alignment that we're having right now that Trump really led on the right. I think RFK represents, it represents a lot. RFK represents a lot of, I think, independents and a lot of Democrats who realize that the current Democrat Party voting to let men into your daughter's dressing room, voting with the military industrial complex, that this is not the Democrat Party, of years gone by. And so I think this is a pretty exciting political realignment. I predict that the Democrats are going to screw over RFK. He's not going to be able to participate in that primary. And I think this is a great opportunity for us on the populist right to say, hey guys, there's more that we agree on than we disagree on. Let's actually form an alliance here, and we can change the political landscape in this country for 50 years.
Yeah, the guy's reasonable, and for that reason alone, they're going to get rid of him, right? Look, I want to talk about the economy and how is that hitting your state locally, your constituents on the ground, grocery, table talk, kitchen table issues, gas prices, inflation, schooling, medical costs.
Yeah.
What are your constituents saying there in Washington, Joe?
I mean, they're really hurting right now. I mean, most families are losing 1 month of their wages throughout the year just to pay for inflation. And so people feel that every time they go to the gas pump, every time they go to the grocery store, like you said. And so if you're a working class family, you are struggling to make ends meet, and it's only getting worse. And there's no end in sight. I mean, look, I like to say in Washington state, on pretty much every issue, we get hit with the 1-2 punch. The Biden economy does what it does, and it's doing that to the entire country. Biden's war on domestic energy driving up those prices. And then Washington state, Jay Inslee and the Olympia Democrats, they add on more taxes onto our gas, about another 90 cents per gallon. So right now we're above $5 per gallon throughout our entire district. So people are being destroyed by this inflation. And again, my opponent, Marie Perez, she's voted for all of these different Biden fiscal policies, the continued out of control spending. I mean, really, it's very basic. Like, we killed off U.S. energy. So, of course, gas prices and grocery prices have gone up. And the Biden administration continues to want to spend, somewhere around $1 to $2 trillion more than we take in annually every year, driving inflation absolutely out of control. And the crazy thing is, the mainstream media and a lot of Democrats, they think your average Americans are like too dumb to understand these things. But the American people are pretty smart. They might not understand like high level economics, but you don't need a PhD in economics to understand if you spend more than you take in, you're going to be in a huge problem. If you kill off domestic energy production, you're going to buy it from other places that are going to charge you too much money. So people right now are furious because they remember what the cost of goods was just a couple years ago.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, even at the gas pump, I remember paying under $2 a gallon for gas in the Trump administration, but boy, orange man bad, right?
Yeah, no mean tweets, I guess.
Yeah, no mean tweets. But boy, I'd sure like that gas back, right?
Yep.
How's the influx of the border issue? And I deal with this on the show constantly with Jason Jones, Tom Homan, Border 911. How's that affecting your state?
So this is huge. Washington state, again, because of the 1-2 punch from Biden and then from Inslee, Washington is now leading the nation on fentanyl overdoses. And I think overdose is too mild of a way to put it. I say these are fentanyl assassinations. These are fentanyl.
Are you getting, by the way, are you getting trank, Joe? Are you guys getting trank up there now too?
With the tranquilizers?
Well, no, the trank. It's a mix of the fentanyl and this other drug that kills big game over in Africa. It's a mix of the two. It turns people into like zombies.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we're getting an influx of every drug because basically the Washington state Democrats decriminalized drug possession. They've attempted to amend this, but basically our law enforcement officers have had their hands tied behind their back. So we have a lethal combination of a wide open southern border. Oregon and Washington, my district's right on the Oregon-Washington border. Both states are sanctuary states. We've got Portland just to our south. We got Seattle to our north. When I went down to the border just about 2 years ago with Representative Paul Gosar, I was at the Yuma crossing, and we're getting a brief there, and there's lots of Border Patrol agents. And I just asked one of them. She had no idea who I was because, Paul Gosar was the congressman there paying attention to him. And I just asked her, I said, hey, when all these illegal immigrants, when they leave this area here, where do they go? Without missing a beat, she's like, the ones here in Arizona and California, they go right up I-5 to West Coast sanctuary cities.
Right.
My district, right between the West Coast sanctuary cities. We've seen a massive uptick in violent crime, property theft, all of the above. I was just talking the other day. Yeah, I was just talking the other day with one of our local police officers who's detailed to the DEA task force on the I-5 corridor. And he says that right now the Mexican drug cartels are targeting our area because of the lack of law enforcement presence and the sanctuary status in Portland and in Tacoma and Seattle and those areas. So look, it's ravaging our communities. The woman I'm running against, she voted against border security. She basically said her border policy is to send more judges down to the border to expedite amnesty claims. So she only wants to make the situation worse. It's crazy. I mean, we were losing almost 100,000 Americans every single year to fentanyl overdoses. And what do the Democrats do? They double and triple down on these policies. It's insanity.
It is insane. We've got about 20 seconds left, and I want you to stick around in the green room when we're done. Touch on this bridge between Oregon and Washington real quick.
Yeah, so the I-5 bridge that connects Oregon and Washington, this is a clear-cut federal issue. Our federal government should take care of these. This is interstate commerce. Yet we've got radicals in Portland that are trying to push this big light rail project that would take the problems of downtown Portland and pump them right down into our district. And Marie Perez, the woman I'm running against, she has a business in Portland, so sometimes I think she forgets what side of the river she's supposed to advocate for. But she's going along with this. This has been on the ballot 3 different times in Washington State. It's gotten shot down by the residents every single time. So we've got to get the bridge fixed. We've got to get it expanded. We need federal funds to do it, but we don't want light rail coming across the water into Vancouver.
No, brother. No doubt about it. And folks, again, follow Joe Kent at joekentforcongress.com. Also on Twitter at Joe Kent 16 January 19. Facebook, Joe Kent for Congress. I want to thank you for coming on the show again today, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We'll have you back soon. God bless you.
The Isaac Law Firm, protecting men and family court.
That was Joe Kent, everybody. Great interview. Great friend of ours here at the network. Folks, it's been a great show. We had our wonderful friends Sid Miller and Joe Kent. So we represented Texas and the state of Washington today. Covered a lot of ground. It was nice to find out about the bridge between Oregon and Washington, the economy in Washington, the border influx. But really angers me that the Democrats voted against funding the VA for veterans like you, like me, like Joe, and so many others. And then Sid Miller to talk about the agricultural situation, border down in Texas, and how everything is affected by that one issue, the border issue, but also his lawsuits against Obama and Biden. It's been a great show today, folks, and look forward to having you back next week. God bless you. God bless your families, and God bless America. We'll see you next week.